भस्य श्रीवाक्यतश्च विद्यावाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यम् लक्ष्मीनाथ समारंभां नाथयामुनमध्यमामस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणु परकाल यतीन्द्र मिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. In the last 3 classes, we have been discussing Artha Panchaka, Prapya, Praptru, Praptyupaya, and Prapti Virodhi had been discussed in the previous classes. We said that Prapya is the supreme being who is to be attained. Praptru refers to the jiva who needs to attain the Prapya. Praptyupaya is the means to attain. Prapti Virodhi refers to the set of barriers that prevent us from going and attaining that Paramatma. Under Prapti Virodhi, we saw Ahankara, Mamakara, Avidya, the enemies, the 6 enemies of humans. We saw all of those. Now, we are coming to the final in the Artha Panchaka, that is Prapti itself. Prapti, the attainment. What is it that we attain? Bhagavan says in Gita, Chaturvidha bhajante mam janas sukruti norjuna arto jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. Chaturvidha bhajante mam. O Arjuna, the people who worship me are of 4 types. What are these types? Artha, Jignasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. Artha is a person who is trying to get back what has been lost. Maybe a person has lost wealth and wants it back, or lost fame, wants it back, lost position, wants it back. Artharthi is a person who wants something new, something that was not there yet. Maybe something like a promotion or becoming rich from coming out of poverty. All such kinds of things, but newly acquiring. Even desires like seeking children would fall there. These two, Artha and Artharthi, are together classified as Aishwaryarthi. Bhagavad Ramanuja, in his Gita Bhashya, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he says, although Krishna is listing 4 types, these could further be classified into 3. As in, Artha and Artharthi being Aishwaryarthi, they are Aishwarya Kamas. They want some kind of wealth, some materialistic desire they have. Then there is Jignasu, who is desirous of understanding and realizing one's own Atma. Then there is Jnani, who is the best among all of these 4. Tesham Jnani Nitya Yuktaha, says Krishna. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Realizing that Bhagavan is everything, nothing else is necessary. That person, that Jnani, Mam Prapadyate, he surrenders to Krishna. Finding such a kind of a person is extremely difficult. So durlabha. Durlabha itself means extremely difficult to find. So durlabha, rarest of the rare. But Krishna says that such a person attains moksha. So by surrendering to Bhagavan, one gets moksha. But what do you get by attaining moksha? If I seek Bhagavan, will I get only Bhagavan? What about wealth? No, I will get wealth as well. All kinds of wealth I will get. What about, sorry, understanding of one's own Atma? When I attain moksha, when I have that prapti, would I have knowledge of the nature of my own Atma? Yes. Will I have realized the nature? Yes. So, is it something that is all encompassing? The most important part is that all of these are attained permanently when you attain moksha. A person who prays to Bhagavan seeking wealth might attain wealth and afterwards forget to pray to Bhagavan or pray to Bhagavan for some other wealth. But nothing is permanent in this life. Nothing at all is permanent in this life. Even if until death we are able to experience the wealth, after death we are going to be reborn. What would happen then? So we do not get any phala that is everlasting. As Krishna says, antavattu phalam. Of course, he says it in a slightly different context, but the phala is having a limitation in terms of time. The only way to get everlasting wealth, everlasting knowledge, everlasting fame, everlasting whatever, is to attain moksha. One might ask, how is it possible to get everlasting fame? We don't know the names of everybody who got moksha. There are plenty of people who don't even know Sanatana Dharma. What do you mean by getting everlasting fame? No, no, no. The humans here on earth may not know, but there is a Nitya Vibhuti. There is Shri Vaikuntha, where every being inside is celebrated. And the beings there are celebrated by all the devas also. So you become a celebrated person there, which is much higher than being a celebrated person here. There you would be celebrated for eternity. And you would deserve that as well. Here it is easy to get celebrated. Even if I'm not very deserving, a person might come and call me scholar. A person might come and call me a very rich man, a great businessman, whatever. But that is not how it works there in Vaikuntha. Whatever you get, you would be fully deserving of it. Plus, you would get everything. And the best part is, everything that you get would be auspicious. Nothing would be inauspicious. Remember the nature of Bhagavan that we said before, Nikhila Heya Pratyanikaha. He repels all the inauspicious qualities. They can't even come near him. And he is having only auspicious qualities. Anavadhika Atishaya Asankheya Kalyana Gunagana. Anavadhika, countless. Atishaya, great, unique, as distinguished from the ordinary people, the Baddhas who are living here. Infinite auspicious qualities, infinite groups of auspicious qualities wherein each auspicious quality is also having its maximal possible magnitude. This is the nature of Bhagavan. Now, as per Vishishtadvaitha Vedanta, the jiva who attains moksha, when moksha prapti happens, the jiva also gets this level of qualification. Now, therefore, we can conclude that a person who attains moksha gets infinite knowledge. We are not saying infinite knowledge leads to moksha. We are not saying infinite knowledge is moksha. We are saying infinite knowledge is something that is attained when you attain moksha. So there is a clear distinction here. Let us look at power, ability. I would like to do great things, but I'm unable to do it here. Will I be able to do all of them there? Well, if the great things that you desire are dharmic in nature, you will be able to do it there. Oh, does that mean that if I desire to do something that is adharmic, I will be incapable? If I am going to be incapable of doing anything, even just one thing, if I am going to be incapable of doing it, does it not mean that I do not get infinite power? The answer to this is given by the fact that when you get moksha prapti, you become completely sattvic. You get a shuddha sattva sharira, and your guna is also purely sattvika. Therefore, the desire to do anything wrong itself would not arise. As the desire to do wrong would not arise, nothing wrong would ever be done. Simple as that. The only desires that you would get would also be auspicious. And to do that, you would get, not that you would, once you attain the state of moksha, you would have infinite power. But most important, a person might ask, what is the point of knowledge? What is the point of power? What is the point of wealth? What is the point of fame? If I cannot have a peaceful life, all of these are useless. But guess what? You get eternal peace. This peace is not described as being attributeless. This is not the Nirguna Moksha of Advaita Vedanta that we are talking about. We are talking about peace, which is itself a guna. You are calm, you are happy, you feel bliss, supreme bliss. So it is a supremely blissful state. It is saguna. It is savishesha. This supremely blissful state is what we are going to attain when we have moksha. Now let us do some purva paksha. Why do we need such a kind of a prapti? If let us start arguing. Suppose a person on attaining moksha, if a person gets infinite knowledge, are there people who have ever attained moksha? First question. We say yes. Plenty of people have attained moksha in the past. Next question. If somebody attains moksha, and by attaining moksha, that person becomes completely auspicious in qualities and gets infinite knowledge, why is that knowledge not used to help us? We don't have infinite knowledge. Why doesn't he come and help us, a person who has got moksha? The Siddhanta is saying that everybody who has attained moksha, also those who have eternally been in the state of moksha, the Nitya Suris, and Bhagavan, all of them have infinite knowledge. Bhagavan has a problem. He cannot give us every knowledge because he thinks about our karma and everything. He will wait for us to do punya karma to give knowledge. All of that is there. He will wait for us to pray to him and so on. What about these muktas? They are jivas, right? They are not Paramatma. They are not the ones who are going to be judging us and giving us the phalas, correct? That is Bhagavan's duty. Bhagavan is the one who gives us punya papa karma phala. Bhagavan is the one who gives moksha as well. These jivas who go to Vaikuntha, they are not supposed to judge us, right? So given that jiva there has infinite knowledge, why shouldn't it grant that knowledge here? Given that it has infinite power, why shouldn't it use that power to help us people? We people are suffering here. We have Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhautika problems. And every one of us has these problems. The entire world has these problems. Plus, more importantly, as we are speaking, it is Kali Yuga. This is the worst of the yugas. In such a situation, if you say that they have infinite auspicious qualities, they should naturally have infinite compassion. Why aren't they showing their compassion here? When the same question was posed in the context of Bhagavan, we said, although he is supremely compassionate, he is also supremely fair. He has to uphold that fairness. Could we use the same argument here? Could we use the exact same argument here? Yes or no? And why? Naturally, the jiva that attains moksha would also have to be completely fair. But does it mean that it has to punish the wicked? Punishing is something that Bhagavan does by giving the karma phala, right? Giving of karma phalas is something that Bhagavan does. So can't the jiva come and help us? The answer to this question has already been given in one of the previous lectures. Yet, this specific question was not posed. Hence, we are doing that. I'm not sure how many people are online in today's class. I see that there are 6 participants in total, which makes 5 people other than me. If any of you remembers the answer, please tell me. If nobody answers, I will tell it. The question
Can
is,
you repeat the question, please?
I'm repeating the question. Bhagavan cannot, Bhagavan has infinite knowledge, he has infinite power, correct? But Bhagavan cannot impart infinite knowledge to us or use his infinite power to save us all completely because he is also fair. Therefore, depending on our karma only, he will help us. Correct? Bhagavan will help us only depending on our karma. He has the ability to save me. See, I'm coughing as I'm speaking right now. If Bhagavan wants, he can cure me in a single second. What second? A fraction of a second, fraction of a second, whatever you say. He can cure me, but he is not doing it. Why? Because of my karma. I have done some bad karma, maybe in this life, maybe in some past life, and I am suffering for it. Bhagavan is the grantor of the karma phala. Therefore, because he is the epitome of fairness, he is the grantor of karma phala, he cannot cure me at this point of time. He hasn't cured me yet. Why? Because I deserve this experience. But could we say the same thing about a jiva that has attained moksha? A jiva that has attained moksha is not the grantor of karma phala to us. Bhagavan is doing that. Jiva is not. Can't that jiva, given that it has infinite knowledge, and given that it is not it is not the grantor of karma phala, can't it share the knowledge with us? That jiva also at some point of time was like us, right? An imperfect being became perfect by attaining moksha. So with infinite compassion, Siddhanta says, Vishishtadvaitha says, it has infinite compassion. With that infinite compassion, can it not come and help me? That Atma. Why is it not helping me? Infinite power, even that jiva can cure me. Why is it not curing me? This is the question.
No, it is the same. There are laws like karmic laws and other prakriti laws, like physical laws of magnetism, electricity, and all. There are mental and spiritual laws. So even Bhagavan is not overruling them. So that is one answer. Second is that kind of pure sattvic jivas only come take in the form of saints or sages and show us the way. This is the
Ah,
second answer.
very beautifully said. Let me explain the second answer first, then we will go to the first answer. Such kinds of Atman could be actually helping us. Maybe we don't understand it. The jivas that have attained moksha, as well as the Nitya Suris, right? The question asked, oh, that jiva has also suffered like us, and therefore should it not feel compassion towards us? Guess what? Even the Nitya Suris who never suffered like us have come and descended to teach us, to guide us towards the path of Bhagavan. A question could be asked there as well, but they have not solved the problem. They also just give some knowledge and walk away. They don't make us realize things. Like how Bhagavan cannot instantly give moksha, we said that is because he is fair. Oh, why can't they go and instantly solve all our problems? To that question, the first answer said by you, sir, that is being presented, that there are laws. These laws are not broken by even Bhagavan. Who set those laws? Bhagavan only set those laws. He himself does not break it. How would it then be possible for these jivas that have attained mukti to break those laws? But to that answer, here comes a question. Does that not imply, if you say there are laws that cannot be broken by these jivas that have attained moksha, does that not imply that they do not have infinite power? They have a lot of power, but they don't have certain powers. Isn't that what is implied? If they are bound by certain laws, it means they don't have infinite power. Is that not so?
No, it is not so. They can make exceptions with the infinite power. There are many examples from Puranas, from real life. You see miraculous saving in the case of Ajmila or in the case of that Angulimala. So there are occasions where that power is used, like that Gajendra Moksha. But they have infinite power, but they only use it when the person deserves it.
Hmm. So that if they are using only when the person deserves it, let us not get into the specific examples, we'll just stick to the topic here. If they are using their infinite powers only to people who deserve it, that means they are again not being all compassionate. The thing is, they are all compassionate. At the same time, the first answer that was said by you, sir, that they are bound by the laws. Why are they bound by the laws? That is the question. Why are they bound by the law that only a deserving person should be helped and that an undeserving person should not be helped? Which law dictates that one person is deserving and another person is undeserving,
That is
non-deserving?
part of the law.
Yes. So that means they are bound by laws. That means they are not infinitely powerful. The answer, the solution to this apparent problem is that they are not really bound by laws. Be it Bhagavan, be it Nitya Suris, be it the Muktas, they are not bound by laws. Okay. They accept the laws because of being supremely auspicious. Bhagavan is the one who made the laws. He is not bound by the laws but he chooses to be bound by them. He can break the laws if he wants to, but he will never break because he is Satya Sankalpa. He decided that he will never break. Therefore, he has never broken. Oh, didn't he break during the time of Gajendra Moksha? No. It might appear as though he broke certain laws, but in reality, Bhagavan did not break any laws. Didn't he break it during the time of Ajamila when he was supposed to go to Yamaloka? No, he did not break the law. Even there, Bhagavan did not break the law. The Samanya Dharma is broken by Vishesha Dharma. We have discussed this before. The general law is broken by the specific law. Why? Because the specific exception, suppose we say, maybe the constitution says, this is the rule, this is the rule, this is the rule, this is the rule. And then it suddenly gives a clause. If the situation is such and such, then the above laws may not be applicable, need not be applicable. So a general rule is overruled by a specific exception. That specific exception is what is seen in the case of Gajendra Moksha, or in the case of Ajamila, or in any other case that might appear to be where he is breaking the law. Bhagavan never breaks the law. If Bhagavan breaks the law that he himself has set, then he would fall. He will get Vaishamya. That Vaishamya Nirghanya, there is a sutra in Vedanta Sutras which says that the Supreme Being cannot have any defect, cannot have any inauspicious quality, cannot have any inappropriate quality. If he makes the laws and he himself breaks them, you could argue, oh, he is the one who made the laws, therefore he is breaking them. Yes, but it means he is not truthful. So, he has the ability to break the laws, but he made the laws in such a way that the laws are not imperfect. Being the perfect being, he made perfect laws. And he, being the perfect being, he follows the perfect laws perfectly. Okay. So the laws that exist, which define what happens when, they are all set in motion by Bhagavat Sankalpa only, by his will. He is the one who willed that these should be laws. At the same time, these laws are perfect and therefore they never have to be broken. If he breaks a perfect law, he will become imperfect. If he breaks a law to show his perfection, it will mean that the law he created is not perfect. And if the law he created is not perfect, it will again imply that he himself is not perfect. Therefore, as we acknowledge Bhagavan to be the perfect being, we should acknowledge that all the laws that were taught by him are perfect. All the laws that were set in motion by him are perfect. So that is how he is functioning. These perfect laws, now coming back to the question. So, are the jivas at the state of moksha bound by these laws? The answer is that the jiva at all points of time is bound to Bhagavan. It is bound to Bhagavan in multiple ways. We have discussed it when talking about Shariratva, right? Sarvatmana swarthe niyantum dharayitum cha shakyam tat sheshataika swarupam tat tasya shariram, we said. Yasya chetanasya yat dravyam sarvatmana svarte niyantum dharayitum cha shakyam tat sheshataika swarupam tat tasya shariram. This was the definition given by us. We said we are under his control at all points of time. He is the one who is bearing us at all points of time. Any ability that we think that we have is in reality given by him only. Any knowledge that we think we have is also given by him only. Yes, yasmai chadatamya jnanam jnanadata harisvaya. Therefore, we are always dependent on him. It is an eternal dependence. Then what is meant by infinite power? Infinite power, when you are infinitely auspicious, when your qualities are infinitely auspicious, would automatically imply that you would behave like Bhagavan. How does Bhagavan behave? Oh, does it mean you will behave like the Swami of all? No. You will behave, you will take decisions the way Bhagavan takes. So, when Bhagavan himself decides whether to save a person or not save a person, whether to grant moksha to a person or not grant moksha to a person, whether to make a person go to Swarga or make a person to go to Naraka, whatever it is. When Bhagavan is taking the decision, it is already the perfect decision. Therefore, the mukta will not go against it. Mukta is also perfect by definition, right? It has achieved perfection. Therefore, it will not go against a perfect decision. And therefore, despite having infinite knowledge, all of that infinite knowledge is not given everywhere here. No. Despite having infinite power, all the miseries of the world, have they all disappeared? No, they have not disappeared. The mukta behaves like the nityas and like Bhagavan. All of them behave in a consistent manner. Yet, there is one fundamental difference between the mukta and the others there in Vaikuntha. Nitya has always been in the state of moksha, right? Nitya Suri has always had infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite bliss, and so on. Bhagavan has also always had infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite bliss, and so on. Mukta is a new entrant. As soon as he gets moksha, it is going to be equivalent only. There is no training period required there. All of these qualities come instantly. So after moksha, the mukta is as good as a Nityasuri. The only difference between these two is that at some point of time, the mukta had not got that prapti. Now the prapti has come, and therefore he is similar. Yet, the Nityas and Muktas are still going to have servitude to Bhagavan. Wait, you just said they will have infinite power. Why should somebody with infinite power ever have servitude towards anybody? Question number one. Question number two, they have infinite power, Bhagavan has infinite power, then shouldn't they be equal? How could the mukta perform seva to Bhagavan in the state of moksha? Because see, Vishishtadvaitha says, when you attain moksha, moksha is a state of performing seva to Bhagavan. We have already discussed that, therefore I am not talking about it right now. Some parts of the prapti have already been discussed. Moksha is a state where jiva performs kainkarya to Bhagavan, performs service, seva to Bhagavan. That we have said already, right? So, there are two questions. First question, if I have infinite power, why will I ever be a servant? Question number two, if I have infinite power and Bhagavan also has infinite power, I should be equal to him. How can I ever be inferior? These two questions would naturally arise, correct? We answer it by saying, why not? Why can't you have servitude to Bhagavan? It is very much possible. Firstly, the infinite power that the mukta has is also something that has been granted only by Bhagavan. Secondly, the mukta being perfect will be grateful towards Bhagavan, will have so much love and affection towards Bhagavan. Thirdly, how did the mukta become a mukta? By surrendering to Bhagavan, correct? It is surrender to Bhagavan that gives moksha. That is very firmly said by Vishishtadvaitha. Vishishtadvaitha says that the Jivatma attains Paramatma only by performing Sharanagati to Paramatma. Without Sharanagati, you cannot get moksha. Now, this Sharanagati, we have discussed about Anga Prapatti, Angi Prapatti, everything. Different types of Sharanagati we have already discussed. But the Sharanagati means you are already surrendering, right? A question might arise. Oh, at that time I surrendered because I did not have any power. I was useless, therefore I declared that I am useless and I surrendered. But now I have got power. Why can't I break free? The answer is that being a perfect being, after attaining moksha, you will not want to break free. You will not want to break free. Point number one. Point number two, if at any point of time, if it even be imagined that somebody breaks free, it is an impossibility. But even if that impossibility happens, which will never ever happen, even if that impossibility happens, that breaking free would violate the fundamental definition of Bhagavan. It would violate several fundamental definitions. So it is an impossibility at several levels. If after getting moksha, I break free from the will of Bhagavan, from the desire of Bhagavan, and I stop performing seva to Bhagavan and all of that. Suppose I'm imagining this way. What if I do all of that? Such an imagination will only remain an imagination, because for it to become a reality, it will have to break several truths, fundamental truths. Truths at the level of definitions will have to be changed, which is an impossibility. It is a logical impossibility. You cannot change a definition. It is a logical impossibility. Therefore, a mukta would not do it. A mukta would have infinite love for Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is supremely compassionate. Bhagavan is the one who has granted it moksha. Bhagavan is the Lord of all. He is the Lord of even the Nityasuris. Yet there would be no fear of Bhagavan because he is perfect and the mukta is also perfect. Therefore, the mukta will never have fear of Bhagavan. So this seva, the service that is done to Bhagavan, it would not be done out of fear. It would be done out of love. Isn't that what we already said about even the Baddha? The bhakti shown by the Baddha, we said Sneha Purva Manudhyanam Bhaktirityabhidiyate. Sneha Purva Manudhyanam. It is out of love and not out of fear, right? Here itself, that is how we define bhakti. There is going to be infinite bhakti. So out of love and not out of fear, the mukta is going to have servitude towards Bhagavan. Is that clear? The servitude is out of love. Can the jiva break through the servitude? No. Oh, why can't it? Does it mean it doesn't have infinite power? No, it has infinite power, but it cannot break through because it violates the fundamental definitions of a mukta. And it violates the fundamental definition of Bhagavan also. It is like asking, are you good at opening doors? Suppose you go and ask a thief. Maybe he's the best thief in the world. You ask him, are you good at opening doors? He says, yes, show me any kind of door, I will open it. You show an open door to the thief and ask him, can you open this? What would he say? He would laugh at you. He'll say, it's already open. I cannot open an already open door without closing it. If it is closed, I can open. A door that has never been closed, without closing that door, is it going to be possible to open it? It is not going to be possible. Does it mean that the thief does not have the ability or that he is a liar? No. It means that the question is stupid. Asking to open an already open door is stupidity. The question is stupid. In the same way, in the exact same way, trying to question the fundamental nature of the jiva, which is to be Bhagavat Shesha, which is to be controlled by Bhagavan, which is to be given all of its abilities only by Bhagavan at all points of time. Questioning that, challenging that would be a stupidity. It is a logical impossibility. You cannot open an already open door. In the same way, you cannot break the Sheshatva of the Jiva. The Sheshatva is always there. We are bound by him. We do not realize it right now. Maybe eventually we will realize in the state of moksha, the Atma is fully realized. Therefore, it accepts the fundamental definition. It accepts the reality. You cannot break that. It is the fundamental nature of the Jiva to be Bhagavat Sharira. And being his Sharira implies that it is his Shesha. We said this before, right? Everything other than Bhagavan is a Sharira of Bhagavan. So, just like how an open door cannot be opened, only a closed door can be opened. In the same way, the same argument could also be applied to the previous questions about knowledge, power, peace, and so on. An open door cannot be opened, correct? It is a logical impossibility. In the same way, be it Bhagavan or be it Nitya Suris or be it the Mukta, helping us when we don't deserve it is also a logical impossibility. How is it a logical impossibility? Because there is infinite fairness. There is infinite fairness in Bhagavan. There is infinite fairness in the Jiva that has attained moksha also. There is infinite fairness in the Nitya Suri. Therefore, they will all behave in the same way. And that infinite fairness is part of the definition of moksha. Part of the definition as in, it is a fundamental implication. We talk about Swarupa Nirupaka dharmas, right? That is not what I am talking about here. It is not a defining aspect of moksha, but it is fundamentally defined by moksha. That is the difference. Now, that being said, we have established that servitude to Bhagavan is always there. We haven't realized it, and maybe we are not performing it properly right now, but in the state of moksha, we will do it. Then comes the next question. Suppose I am a servant, how will I have the happiness? Look at this world. In this world, suppose I am a servant. Let us say I go to some house, I go sweep, mop, wash dishes and everything. Then there is a lady of the house. What is she doing? Comfortably sitting on the sofa, watching something on television, or maybe watching something on the computer, whatever. Which one of these is peace and happiness? Sorry. The servant is continuously working. The servant is cleaning, right? If I am a servant, what am I doing? First, I am dusting everything. Then I am mopping. Maybe I am using a vacuum cleaner. Then I am washing all the dishes. I am cleaning this, cleaning that, doing all the work. The Swamini of the house, the lady of the house, what is she doing? She is very comfortably sitting and watching me do everything. Who gets happiness among the two? I am straining, whereas she is not straining. She is enjoying, whereas I might not be enjoying. Right? So in the same way, if you are a sevaka of Bhagavan on attaining moksha, you have got moksha prapti, you have become a Bhagavat sevaka, proper Bhagavat sevaka, perfect sevaka. How does it change anything? The perfect servant is still a servant, right? How would you get infinite happiness? We say that even the person who has attained moksha does have infinite happiness. In our human lives as baddhas, this servanthood is seen as problematic for two reasons. One, we may not love to do it. It is not as though I love to sweep the floor and mop the floor of another person's house, especially when the lady of that house is chilling, uh, just relaxing. I am only taking all the effort. It might not feel great. Secondly, as I perform these activities, I'm straining. Maybe my body is sweating, I get tired, something, right? So there are two reasons why servitude as a baddha is not preferable for baddhas. They say it requires strain and it is not something that is desired. It is not something that we really want to do. But in the state of moksha, that is not how it is going to be. In the state of moksha, we are not going to have to strain at all to do anything because we would have infinite power. We would be performing seva to Bhagavan, but without any strain, without any stress. Even here, when we go to temples, suppose one person is using the chamara to fan Bhagavan, some person is performing puja, collecting flowers to offer to Bhagavan, whatever it be, there is some amount of effort required. There, in the state of moksha, it would be effortless. It would be effortless. So, effort is not something that is going to be a problem. Stress is not going to be there. Strain is not going to be there. And most importantly, when we are in the state of moksha, we would love to perform seva to Bhagavan. That is definitely going to be there. When we get moksha prapti, we would start loving to do seva to Bhagavan. Even before getting that moksha, we would have started liking to do seva to Bhagavan. That is how we would have surrendered to him and attained moksha. But once we have attained moksha, we would become perfect sevakas of Bhagavan out of complete love. So we would enjoy that. We would have infinite bliss as sevakas also. It is not something that could be imaginable for us because the examples that we see in the world are not like that. The examples that we see in the world are not like that. But in the state of moksha, even performing seva to Bhagavan would give infinite bliss. Now comes a question. If performing seva is infinite bliss, then Bhagavan is receiving that seva. How could he have infinite bliss? We say he experiences the bliss as the Swami. We experience bliss as the Sevakas. That is all. This is Vishishtadvaitha's answer to the question. We say he remains Swami. We remain Sevakas. Yet the level of bliss that we experience is equal. It is just of a different type. East is a direction. West is a direction. You cannot call one direction as superior to the other. Technically, you cannot call one direction as superior to the other. Yet, even though you cannot call it that way, you have to acknowledge that they are different directions. In the same way, Bhagavan and the Jiva are going to be different. One has attained moksha and is a mukta. One has been the Swami since forever. But at the same time, both of them exist the same bliss. How? One experiences the bliss as sevaka. Doing that seva gives me happiness. Whereas for him, allowing us to perform seva gives happiness. There are times when he also performs seva. That is also there. That is also his leela. And we have seen that when Nityasuris like Adisesha come, Krishna performed seva to Balarama. We know that. For example, Rama also performed seva to Dasharatha. Dasharatha did not even get moksha. Dasharatha was a baddha. But Rama performed seva to Dasharatha. How is this fair? No. Bhagavan loves to do seva. He is doing seva. Oh, when Rama performed seva to Dasharatha, did he not have infinite happiness? No, he still had infinite happiness. So you see different examples. When Krishna serves Balarama, does it mean that Krishna does not have infinite happiness? No, he still has infinite happiness. When Rama serves Dasharatha, who has not even got moksha, that Rama is also having infinite happiness. In the same way, when a Mukta or a Nitya serves Bhagavan in Vaikuntha, they would still have infinite happiness. Is this clear? If there is any further question on this, please feel free to ask.
Very clear.
Okay. So if there is no question,
I have a small, I don't know,
yes, please.
doubt actually. Yeah. See, my doubt was from last 15 days, I had this doubt that whether knowledge comes first or siddhis will come first or moksha comes first, which one is superior? So I got the answer. Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
And now, thing is like, if I attain moksha, doesn't mean that I just get dissolved. There is no Swami or Sevaka.
The answer to that will depend on the school of philosophy you are following. This is
Okay,
on
okay.
Vishishtadvaitha. We teach only Vishishtadvaitha here. As per Vishishtadvaitha, you do not get dissolved and become one.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
As per Advaita also, you do not become one. You realize that you are one, technically. Becoming is used as a metaphor in Advaita. But truly what Advaita says is that you realize that you are one. Okay. But in Vishishta Advaita or in Dvaita or even in Achintya Bheda, for example, in these kinds of philosophies, that is not accepted.
Okay. So, but still there is again, there is a choice for us to choose through which school I learn all this. Now, ultimately, where all these schools will meet?
Ultimately, they will not meet. It is a misconception that all the schools meet. The schools do not really meet. Okay. As per Advaita Vedanta, the other schools will eventually lead to Advaita. But Dvaita says that will never happen. So, even in the context of meeting, the different philosophies have different opinions. And therefore, if we are to look at it from a neutral perspective, of course, if we look at it from a perspective that is biased towards any philosophy, we will have our own answer. As per Advaita, you will have Advaita specific answer. As per Dvaita, you will have Dvaita specific answer, and so on. But if you look at it from a neutral perspective,
yes,
a meeting point is not acknowledged. In fact, Advaita Vedanta says a person who is continuously in the state of Bheda will never be able to attain moksha. Mrityum apnoti. Yaha naneva pashyati or naneti pashyati. Something is there, right, in the Veda. So, one who sees the differences all the time will not be able to attain moksha. On the contrary, he will forever be bound by samsara. That is what Advaita says. Advaita says the exact opposite. Dvaita also cites the Veda, but it will say the exact opposite. It will say one who sees Abheda will never ever be able to attain moksha. That person will keep falling And eventually that person will become a tamo yogya and will eventually get eternal hell. In Dvaita philosophy, there is a concept of eternal naraka. So there is a difference even with regards to the final meeting point. So there is no meeting point. Now, as an individual, you have a choice. You follow this philosophy, that philosophy, whatever. But the final destination as defined by each of these philosophies is also going to be different. Okay, no matter which philosophy I follow, I will ultimately reach the same state, right? If you ask, no, because although all of them use the word moksha, moksha is described differently by Advaita, differently by Dvaita, differently by Vishishtadvaita, and so on.
Okay. Then it is just the schools who define the moksha. This is what can be, but what exactly it is, how to experience, or that experience has come into the knowledge.
See, each school says it has come into the knowledge and therefore it is advising that path. That is all.
But
That's
again,
all.
here I am forcing to choose either of the schools. If I choose, I don't want any school. I want just what it is. I don't know what it is, but I am aspiring for what it is.
That we do not, that you do not know what it is because you because we are bound by karma phala, we are not able to see the exact truth. What we are left with is the scripture, and the interpretations of scriptures have been given differently by different schools, and therefore from a neutral perspective, when we see, we are not able to have clarity. That clarity is not there because we are bound by karma. That is it. Obviously, all of them cannot be true at the same time because they are having fundamental conflicts with their definitions. And therefore, even if we are to say that certain paths are correct and certain paths are incorrect, from a neutral perspective, how would you know? You would not be able to know. Maybe if you study all of them and then compare them, even those who studied all of them and compare them, some of them said Advaita is the best, some of them said Dvaita is the best, some of them said Vishishtadvaita is the best. That is what happened. Because even those people were bound by
That
karma.
person will create one more school.
Yes, that is another possibility. Very correctly said. So it is better not to assume. See, we are all bound by karma. We should not claim to be perfect. Oh, I'm not going to say I have infinite knowledge. I have already said infinite knowledge is something that I will get after attaining moksha. Right?
But I have to use the knowledge to attain moksha.
That is specific knowledge, not infinite knowledge.
Okay.
For example, I don't have to know, see, above me there is a ceiling fan. Okay. I don't have to know how the ceiling fan is working to attain moksha.
I just have to know how to on the switch.
No, I don't need even that to attain moksha. To operate the fan, yes, but
Yes.
to attain moksha, I don't even have to know what a switch means or what a fan means.
Okay.
So that is what I'm trying to say. Specific knowledge is required to attain moksha, but after you attain moksha, you get infinite knowledge. That is what Vishishtadvaita says. Now Advaita will have a problem there also. Nirguna moksha, in Nirguna moksha, Atma will be Jnana Swarupa, but it will not have Jnatritva. We have discussed this in some previous classes. Atma will not be having the ability to possess any knowledge in the final supreme state of moksha as per Advaita Vedanta. As per Advaita Vedanta, it will experience nothing. If it experiences anything at all, it will be Saguna. But Nirguna, as it is called, means attributeless. So it would not have knowledge, it would not have anything, it would not perform any activity. What kind of Atma is that? Well, as per Advaita, in that state, there is nothing existing other than that one Atma. There is only one Atma. There is no universe, there is no space, there is no constraint of time, there is nothing. Then what will it think? What knowledge will it have? What will it do? Nothing will ever happen. That is what Advaita says.
Okay. Right. So thank you so much. And would you mind giving your contact details or address so that if at all we want to come and meet you personally?
Oh, are you the one who had asked previously as well? I was told that the School of Ancient Wisdom was contacted and somebody was asking for my contact details. If you are the person, then they will give you my contact details. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
If there is no other question, let us conclude the class. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.